it goes a little something like this. Tag team, back again. Check it, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, jump, rejoice. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These three words when you're getting busy. Whoop, there it is, Hitman.
Welcome back, episode 7, MG, the BOD. How are you today?
We brought it back a little old school there, Joe.
You have to do
little
it
whoop,
people.
there it is, little Jock Jams.
Classic, Volume 3.
Circa 98.
Some exciting news to talk about. MG and the BOD recently signed a 1-year contract.
We signed after 6 short episodes.
It doesn't happen like that, but when you're this good, it happens like that.
Shit happens.
Good work.
Good work, Joe.
All around.
Good work.
We want to let you guys know that we recently teamed up with Kevin Barbaro and CoffeeTalkRadio.com. Go to that website.
He's working on the website now. We should
That's
be
right.
up probably within the next week. We are going to be. He's a nationally syndicated radio host.
Yes,
and,
he has many films coming out within the next year.
He is the platform that MG and the BOD is going to join.
Yeah, special thanks to Kevin. When we get on there full time, when we upload this episode, CoffeeTalkRadio.com, follow the links, like us. We are here for advertising purposes as well. We can always help out, whatever you need.
It's been a good week, Joe.
It's been a great week.
We're out here. You know what? We're not dressed like we're gonna build a snowman with Anna and Elsa.
I know.
It's the sun's out. I'm feeling good.
My nose is not running.
Yeah, you didn't do a pre-show blow today.
I didn't need to.
You didn't.
It's Mimosa Sunday, Matt.
It is Mimosa Sunday, Joe. Let's get right to it.
Yeah, a couple dates I want to hit on though first. Our next show after this one, April 27th, we're going to have a special guest for you. Not going to tell you who. We're going to need you to tune in. It's going to be a magical ride.
There'll be 3 of us here.
Yeah, when we're not all small people. Also, we decided to do a special show on draft day, April 30th. We're going to do a real quick show, go over our final mock draft, and we're going to have a blast with it. We're really excited. We're about 2 weeks out from the draft now.
Absolutely.
Let's get into some questions before we hit up 1 through 32 in our draft.
Okay.
I'm going to start you off, Maddie. Question from Eric Kaus. With Tampa selecting a quarterback with the first pick and the rumors swirling Doug Martin could be available for trade, my question is, do you think they draft a running back or go for offensive line help with the second pick?
I think it's no question they address the offensive line. I think that Lovie Smith is going to take a real good look at what he has left in Doug Martin. And me personally, I think Doug Martin has a little left in the tank. I think he was shortchanged a little bit by injury. And I think that he will actually have a good year this year.
My opinion is it's 100% offensive line. They drafted the kid last year, Charlie Sims. I think he's going to be a very good running back. Eventually, maybe not this year, which is why Doug Martin is still on the team. But offensive line, whether you take Winston or Mariota, you need to protect him.
100%.
Because they have the offensive weapons to succeed.
Agreed, 100%. This next email is from Donna from Beth Page.
She's a gem.
She is a gem. She wants to know, MG and the BOD, what are your thoughts on the female ref that is now in the NFL?
Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is terrible.
Awful.
I'm sure that she knows football and she understands it. I will never take that away from her. However, you're dealing with mammoth men on this field who don't exactly use clean language. If a female anatomy part comes out or she gets touched, God forbid.
Yeah, at the bottom of a pile.
Fumble.
Lawsuit waiting to happen.
Exactly. Hashtag sexual harassment.
Lawsuit waiting to happen. I think it's awful too. I think,
It's just, we're not trying to discriminate.
Absolutely not.
We're just trying to protect the game of a lawsuit.
Absolutely not.
It's just an awful situation, I think.
I agree with you. I have nothing else to add to that. I think it's an awful situation. Best of luck to you. Nothing against you personally. I think her name's Sarah.
Okay.
Nothing against you personally. You probably even know the game, but I just think it's a terrible move for the NFL. But it's probably the beginning. It's a precedent that's going to be set, and there's going to be more.
I agree. Third question, second one for Maddie. This is from Roddy McCoy.
Roderick.
Yes. Much speculation of the Chargers moving Phillip Rivers. Do you think this will happen on draft day?
Do I think the Chargers are going to trade Phillip Rivers? I don't. He has made it known in the media that he does not want them to move to LA, and he is going to play out his contract in hopes of either San Diego not moving, or if they do move, I don't think he's going to go with them. So I think To answer his question, I don't think they're gonna trade him on draft day. I think they are looking through the draft though to get somebody as a suitable replacement for him.
Okay, I think that of all the quarterbacks being mentioned via trade, Phillip Rivers, Jay Cutler, Cam Newton, even Drew Brees, I think the percentage of Phillip Rivers is greater than everybody else's. If they could stockpile picks, move up, move down, trade away, whatever you have to do, but it is a money issue at the end of the day, I think, and Phillip Rivers makes a lot of money.
100%.
So if I had to pick any quarterback that's going to be traded, it would be Phillip Rivers, and I think he ends up getting traded
On draft day?
Yes, on draft day to the Jets, but the Jets, San Diego has to also add more pieces to that puzzle if they're going to move to 6. So we're going to have to see what happens there.
All right, well, that concludes the emails.
Yes, it does.
We encourage you out there to send us your emails, mgandthebod@yahoo.com, and we'll answer anything and everything that gets sent our way.
Always.
We got a big plate ahead of us right now. We're gonna do mock draft 3.0. We're gonna bring you, instead of 1 to 17, we're gonna bring you the whole thing right now. We're gonna bring you 1 to 32. So let's get right into it, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. With the first overall pick currently, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select. Who do you have?
I have him taking Jameis Winston. I think it's out there. It's been out there for a while that I think this is the no-brainer pick for them. Me personally, I would not take this pick. For them, I think they're going to take Jameis Winston. However, recently, as you pointed out to me pre-show, there are some questions. I mean, his own lawyer came out and said that he doesn't trust Jameis Winston off the field. I mean, this is a guy that you pay to defend you.
Yeah, I don't think that lawyer's still employed by the Winston family.
Me either.
That was terrible. I know that I've been ridiculed for this. I'm sticking with Mariota at 1. The Tampa Bay ownership recently has also said that Winston's persona is not really suitable for them. Needless to say, they could still take him, but I'm keeping Marcus Mariota as my number 1 overall pick, quarterback from Oregon.
Okay. From Oregon?
Yes.
Okay.
Oregon.
Okay. I was looking at my sheet, Jameis Winston.
Oh, you okay. Fair enough.
I'm stupid.
Yeah, that's okay. We know
All right,
that.
number 2, Tennessee. You're on the clock, buddy.
They take the best overall player in this draft, 6'3", 295-pound, Leonard Williams, USC. Easy pick for me.
It's been a tough couple days for me making my mock 3, Joe.
So I've heard.
Because I really want to put Leonard Williams here because I think he is the overall best player in the draft.
Right.
There's something that tells me Marcus Mariota is going to Tennessee. And if he's not going to Tennessee, then they will trade this pick. I think Marcus Mariota is going number 2 overall. Whether it's to Tennessee or not, I don't know. But right now I'm going to put them.
That's very possible.
I think that's a very big trade piece that Tennessee's
Sure.
holding. You know,
Sure.
the Jets, the Browns, maybe even the Eagles. Somebody's going to jump up there. And
We just talked about San Diego.
Somebody's going to jump up there and get Marcus Mariota. But for now, if nobody bites and nobody offers Tennessee what they're looking for, I think that they're going to take Marcus Mariota. So I have him going number 2.
Okay, fair enough. Number 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What do you got?
Jacksonville. I have him taking from Florida, Dante Fowler. I think he's the second best player in the draft. Some could argue that he is the best defensive player in the draft, depending on the need of the team. I think Jacksonville favors, instead of, because in my mock, Leonard Williams is still on the board. I think they favor the linebacker position more than the defensive line. So I think they go with Dante Fowler.
Well, when you play Andrew Luck twice a year, you better get after him. So I also have Dante Fowler here, outside linebacker from Florida. In my opinion, the best speed rusher off the edge in this draft.
I think he's great.
Yeah, he's a good player. Number 4, the Oakland Raiders. Again, staying with my gut, I'm taking the safest play here, and I'm going wide receiver, Amari Cooper from Alabama. Again, the speed of Kevin White is great. His height is great, but when it comes down to it, I think the longevity of Amari Cooper, his route tree, and the ability to be consistent makes this the number 4 overall pick.
This is another one where it's tough because if Leonard Williams is still on the board, I have Oakland taking Leonard Williams because I think if he's still on the board, they go by the big board.
Always trust the board.
I think they go by the big board, and in my mock, he's still the number 1 on the big board.
Right.
So I have them taking Leonard Williams. If he's off the board, if Tennessee, like your mock, if Tennessee takes Leonard Williams, I think it's a coin flip between Kevin White and Amari Cooper. Me personally, I think Amari Cooper is more polished. I think everybody thinks that. I think Kevin White provides a lot of upside, though.
Fair enough.
So I haven't taken Leonard Williams.
That's some little 1-2 punch there with Leonard Williams and Khalil Mack.
You know,
That could be special.
they really hit it out of the park with Khalil Mack
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
Absolutely.
Number 5, Washington Redskins. Speaking about polished wide receivers, this team, I don't think they have a wide receiver. I understand they have Deshaun Jackson. I understand they have Pierre Garçon. But if they're really, truly going to go with RG3 at quarterback, they need to get this guy some weapons. And they cannot afford to miss this pick. They can't. They're turning into a laughingstock draft-wise. If RG3 falters like he has been, they gave up a lot for him. So they need to hit a home run on this pick. And to me, they go with the safe pick. They go wide receiver out of Alabama. They go with Amari Cooper here.
Okay, I disagree. I think that the loss of Brian Orakpo, even though he hasn't played that much, you have to get after the quarterback. It's a passing league. I think Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon are viable candidates to be successful wide receivers. Garçon's just 2 years removed for a 100-plus catch season, and Deshaun's 2 years removed from a 1,200-yard season. And this team just needs to get used to Jay Gruden.
Deshaun's got to stay on the field.
No doubt about it. So my pick for the Redskins is outside linebacker Vic Beasley from Clemson, to set the edge for them for the future.
And he would fit perfectly there. I'm not disputing your mock.
You shouldn't.
I dispute a lot of things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they have to take the safe pick here.
Fair enough.
Number 6, the Jets. Speaking about Vic Beasley, that's who I have them taking.
Okay.
I think they need to address the defensive side of the ball. They also have holes in offense. I understand that. But I think at number 6, you take the next best defensive player off the board, and in my opinion, that's Vic Beasley from Clemson.
Okay. I don't think they need defensive help. Okay. I think that they're pretty stacked there at every level, and I had them take.
They stacked at linebacking?
They're well off between their defensive line and their secondary, yeah.
They got a great defensive line.
This class is extremely deep at outside rushers, and they can grab one in the second round.
But Vic Beasley,
according to my draft, what could be their big board, I haven't taken a quarterback, Jameis Winston.
Well, listen, if a quarterback falls to them, I think they would take him. But in my mock, I have to go by who I have left, and I have Winston and Mariota off the board already.
Yeah.
So I have to go with Winston. If Mariota falls to them, yes, I do see them taking Mariota.
Okay.
Or vice versa, Winston. Yes, I do see that. In my mock, though, they're not going to reach on a quarterback there. They could trade out of the pick.
I would recommend that they do. Accumulate picks.
They could trade out.
Still am not ready to call quits on Geno. He's got weapons. Now is his make-or-break year. I wouldn't be surprised if they took an offensive lineman here. You can never have enough. They have a pretty good offensive line, but
they could use an offensive line.
I'm going Jameis Winston.
Okay.
Quarterback, Florida State.
Number 7, Chicago Bears.
Oh my God.
They got a lot of holes.
Yeah, they do. But I think that with John Fox there now, I think they're going to stick to their big board as well. We're bringing that word up a lot today. Wide receiver Kevin White. I don't think that they shipped out Brandon Marshall. I don't think they trust that kid Wilson. They go Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, and Kevin White. And you say Jay Cutler, don't turn the ball over as much, and hopefully you can make the playoffs.
That's a tall task.
Yeah, well, I giving him a tall wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, do you know what, Joe? I don't have any disagreement yet because I have Kevin White going there also.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do. I think they are going to attack the wide receiver position, whether it's with this pick or later on in the draft. There are a lot of wide receivers there. But I think Kevin White and Amari Cooper are the two that stand out, and then the rest fall into place.
Absolutely.
I think they take Kevin White here.
Absolutely. Number 8, the Atlanta Falcons. I have them definitely taking the defensive side of the ball
100%.
They have no defense, and they need as much help as possible. They acquired some guys, not enough though. They're going to take defensive end Shane Ray from Missouri, quite possibly the best first step in this draft to get to the quarterback, and he will help solidify the sacks that they need there. So
no argument here, Joe. I got the same pick.
Beautiful.
Shane Ray from Missouri. We're falling into place here, Joe.
I don't like that. Number 9.
The New York Football Giants. This pick was really hard for me.
This pick was extremely easy for me.
Jerry Reese is just... He's hard to gauge, in my opinion. He's hard to gauge. He always sticks to his board.
Right.
He always takes the best available. He drafted Odell Beckham last year, and I don't care what all you people out there, you probably didn't like the pick because nobody really knew how spectacular this player was. It turned out that it was a great pick. Now, if one of those wide receivers, if Amari Cooper or Kevin White fall to him, I think that he's going to take them.
I could see that.
Okay, but in my mock, he's off. They're off the board.
Right.
I have him taking defensive tackle Danny Shelton from Washington. I think they need to address that side of the ball. I think they need to address their defensive line. They could go a number of ways here. I'm not confident with that pick at all, but That's who I settled on when I did my mock.
Okay. I'm giving them the best lineman in this draft, capable of playing tackle or guard. Brandon Schreff from Iowa. In a Ben McAdoo offense, you better have athletic offensive linemen. Eli's getting older. You have to protect them. And if you want your playmakers to get down the field and make plays, Eli has to have time.
Joe, it was a tough decision for me not to put him there. It really was, because he is the best lineman in the draft, and they desperately need line. It was a tough decision. I just think...
No, I understand.
I think Jerry Reese goes defense there.
Number 10, rounding out the top 10, the St. Louis Rams. This is an interesting pick for me. Their defense is outstanding. Last year they drafted Greg Robinson, and they got Trey Mason. I think that they're going to give Nick Foles every bit of help that they can get. They're taking wide receiver Devontae Parker from Louisville.
Great pick. I don't disagree with that pick.
He's so big and athletic.
I think
I like this kid. He doesn't have the dropsies. He can go over the middle and he can beat you along. He's a really good all around player.
I think he's very polished. I do. I think he's. I think he's gonna. If he goes there, I think he would work out nice with Nick Foles. I really do. Me personally, though, I think they need to address the offensive line, and they have to take the best offensive lineman on the board, which is Brandon Schreff in my mock.
Okay, fair enough.
So I think that's where they address the.
That would be some combo with. Greg Robinson.
Greg Robinson. They hit it out of the park last year with Greg Robinson, and you put Schreff on. Listen, you know as well as anybody, you win football games with an offensive line.
Right.
All right, and if you put Robinson and this guy on there.
With their defensive line and those two guys on the offensive line, you are putting together a very intimidating team.
Well, Jeff Fisher knows what he's doing.
My favorite coach.
One of the best coaches.
My favorite coach. Moving on, the NFC North, Minnesota Vikings at 11. Mike Zimmer's there. In the secondary, they have Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith from Notre Dame. I'm giving them cornerback Trey Waynes, Michigan State. They're in a division where everybody slings the ball all over.
Agreed.
You have to find a way to stop it.
Absolutely.
You have to. So that's my pick. Cornerback Trey Waynes, Michigan State.
Okay. I'm going to pair up Teddy Bridgewater with his old pal.
Ooh.
And I think they need a wide receiver because I really don't even know who their wide receivers are. They got the guy Charles Johnson.
They got Mike Wallace. Charles Johnson.
Mike Wallace. I was being facetious. I know you are. I know who's rostered on that team.
But they're not exactly overwhelming guys.
They need somebody there that scares teams.
Right.
And rather than Trey Waynes makes sense. Believe me, it makes sense. But to me, if you can't beat him, join him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you can't beat the Packers in the air game, the Lions in the air game, you know what? I'm going to have an air game in myself, and I haven't taken Devontae Parker from Louisville.
Fair enough.
Number 12, the Cleveland Browns. Another pick that I really wanted to give him a wide receiver here because another team that doesn't have a wide receiver, but to me they have a lot of holes, and I think they need to address the offensive line, and I haven't taken Lyle Collins from LSU.
That's a big body. That is a big body. I have them going with another large body. Other side of the ball.
Other side of the ball.
Defensive tackle. Nose tackle.
Yeah, if he's still there, yeah.
Washington. The kid is...
I love him.
Takes on 2-3 blocks every time. The ultimate zero gap nose tackle in a 3-4 scheme.
I think he's going to be special, Joe.
He could be really good. You know what he's going to be like? I think he's going to be a less athletic Haloti Ngata.
I was just going to say Haloti Ngata. I agree with you.
Haloti Ngata.
Yeah,
that's who he is.
I think he's going to be special. That's why I had the Giants taking him. But I agree with you. If he does fall there, that's who they take.
Moving on, number 13, New Orleans Saints. Again, this is a team that needs as much defensive help as possible.
Can they draft 11 guys at number 13?
I wish that they could.
Because their defense is atrocious.
Because I love Drew Brees. I want to see him succeed.
Their defense is atrocious.
It's so bad. I'm giving them the pot smoker. Outside linebacker, Randy Gregory from Nebraska. I think this ends his fall to a team where he could be successful, step in right away and rob Ryan's defense and get after the quarterback in the NFC South.
Listen, Randy Gregory is a top 10 talent. I don't know how you go to the biggest professional interview of your life and fail a drug test. I just don't see it. I have him falling lower. I have the New Orleans Saints taking cornerback Trey Waynes from Michigan State. I think they desperately need a cornerback on that team. Mm-hmm. And he's the best on the board. So I have him taking Trey Waynes from Michigan State.
Beautiful.
Number 14, the Miami Dolphins. I hate this pick, but Brashard Perriman from USC. He's been climbing up draft boards. It's not that I'm putting here just because he's climbing up draft boards. I think it's well deserved. The guy ran a 4.340, I believe. The guy is lightning. He's a big body, and I think he could complement Jarvis Landry very well. I think that they go Perriman.
I think that the recent acquisition of Kenny Stills delays them taking a wide receiver.
I think Stills is a good slot guy.
No doubt. I just don't. This team needs more help, in my opinion. I had them taking cornerback Marcus Peters from Washington, a troubled kid. Yeah, just a troubled kid. But I think if he could find a good home, and Joe Philbin is a very good coach. He's turning that team around. He seems to have found his quarterback. So I'm giving them as much defensive help as possible, and they're going to try to get as much out of Ndamukong Suh as possible.
Yeah.
Break him into the ground, and hopefully Marcus Peters makes plays for you in the secondary.
Listen, the best cornerbacks are the teams that have the best defensive line.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you get pressure on a quarterback's got to get the ball out of his hand. So I think Suh is really going to help the secondary there, and Peters makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be wrong in a mock draft. Number 15, the San Francisco 49ers. This is a team who's going in the wrong direction, and it needs to stop. Problem one was getting rid of their head coach, who I thought was awesome. I'm sure people disagree with me. That's fine. I have them taking...
Well, he was a dick, but he was...
I don't care. He won.
He was a great coach. I would take him any second.
At the end of the day, what's the only stat column that matters?
Absolutely.
The wins.
W.
He got those.
Every day and twice on Sunday, I would take him.
Right.
But he was a dick.
I don't care.
Okay.
Wide receiver Dorial Green Beckham from Missouri/Oklahoma. They have no wide receivers.
Not one.
Bottom line, I think they take the kid in some eyes, who has the most upside in this draft. You can't teach 6'5", 240 in speed.
He's a monster.
You could teach everything else. You can't teach that.
He's a monster.
So that's my pick, Dorial Green Beckham.
Well, I have him addressing the other side of the ball. And this is one of my favorite players in the draft, actually. I tried to find a spot for him higher, but I just couldn't fit him in anywhere. I haven't taken Alvin Bud Dupree from Kentucky. I think this guy is awesome.
He's my second favorite player.
I think he is awesome.
Yeah, I like him too.
And I think they need defensive help. I mean, you had Borland retire, you had Willis retire.
Yeah.
I think they need defensive help. They need offensive help as well, but I think
Justin Smith is getting older.
I think they address the defensive side of the ball there. Houston Texans, number 16. I have them replacing Andre Johnson with, in my opinion, the third best receiver in the draft, Jalen Strong from Arizona State. I think he is a big, strong receiver who will be a possession receiver in the NFL. Very, very few drops in college, and I think he will succeed there. He'll step in there, he'll succeed. DeAndre Hopkins obviously is the new number one, and I think he'd be a nice compliment.
Fair enough. I had them taking DJ Humphries, offensive lineman from Florida. Simple reason is I'm not even sure who's going to start at quarterback there, if it's Mallet or Savage, or God only knows what else they could do. But you got to protect this kid. I think it's going to be Mallet, so you have to protect him. Again, wide receiver, very, very deep this class. You could get a lot of help later, but the offensive line depth is just not there. So I had them taking probably one of the most athletic offensive linemen in this draft, if not the most athletic, DJ Humphries, lineman from Florida.
They could. I could see that.
Plus, if
they need to address the offensive line at some point in the draft.
Listen, they're a run-first team. You're going to run Arian Foster. Give them as much help as possible.
Absolutely.
Moving along, number 17, the San Diego Superchargers.
Superchargers.
I looked at their depth chart several times, and I say to myself, Joe, what are they doing on defense?
Self?
Yeah, I say self. What's say good-looking or awesome? Any great adjective to describe me? Chunky, some would use.
That's a great adjective. I found the most accurate one.
Right. They have, I can't even pronounce his name, Witten Marcellus? Manti Te'o, who I loved in college, but you were fake Skyping somebody.
His girlfriend loved him too.
yeah, that lasted long. His internet went down. That's how long she loved him. You're taking Malcolm Brown, defensive tackle. They have to get bigger and stronger up front. Give that defense some help, because the offense puts up points, I think. So they're taking defensive tackle, Malcolm Brown from Texas.
I have him addressing the same side of the ball, Joe.
Right.
And this is where I have Randy Gregory's drop cease.
Okay.
I have them taking Randy Gregory at number 17, and I think they have to, because I think first of all, I do think he's going to fall this far, if not maybe further. But I think that if a player with this type of potential falls to them, they have to overlook his red flags, and they have to, because like you said, they need to address the defensive side of the ball badly, and I think that he would step in there and start quickly.
Fair enough.
And excel.
That's fantastic, I think.
Number 18, the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of ways we can go here.
Yeah, I'm going to go the the way that should be done, in my opinion.
Oh, really? You
right.
bought the Kansas City Chiefs?
You didn't know?
No.
You're actually the president. To replace Eric Berry, who I absolutely adore. It's a shame. I hope he heals up. Get better soon, Mr. Berry. Strong safety, Landon Collins from Alabama. I think they see what Clinton Dix did last year. Landon Collins is as polished, but you can literally line him up in the box because he's a short tackler and he has the speed to cover over the top. Still some developmental issues that he needs to go through, but that's my pick. Strong safety, Landon Collins, Alabama.
I think they need help on the offensive line. And
Yes, you do.
And I think Andy Reid drafts accordingly. That I think he builds teams in Philadelphia. He builds teams from the offensive line out. That's what he does. I think they take the best offensive lineman on the board. Left, T.J. Clemmings from Pittsburgh. I think he is a big athletic body that will step right into Andy Reid's offense and excel.
Fair enough. Moving on.
Number 19, the Cleveland Browns. Again, I couldn't find a wide receiver to put there. I so badly want to give them a wide receiver because I think they need one. But I have them taking Malcolm Brown from Texas. I have them addressing the defensive line.
Who'd you have them taking with the first pick?
The first pick, I had them taking Lyle Collins.
Okay, well, you got bigger, certainly.
Well, they're two big bodies.
Yeah, they're good.
Maybe they can catch the ball. Who knows?
No, the Malcolm Brown pick I like because you have to replace Philip Taylor. Well, he's still there, but he only has a year left on his contract, I believe. For me, I do have a wide receiver available for them. I'm giving them wide receiver Jalen Strong, Arizona State. Again, I love his size, 6'3". He could stretch the field, but Matty alluded to it earlier. He could be a great possession receiver, and I think he could do that in Cleveland. So that's my pick, Jalen Strong, Arizona State. Number 20. The most talked about team this offseason, the Philadelphia Eagles.
For good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, Chip Kelly's, let's be honest, he's out of his mind.
Is he? Or he may be a genius.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't think he's a genius. I'm just saying he could be.
He could be.
He could be.
He could be. I don't think they're going to win the East, by the way, but regardless, a wild card team at best. They are taking my favorite player in the draft. This kills me. This absolutely kills me, Matt. They're taking Arik Armstead from Oregon.
Of course they're taking Arik Armstead
because
from Oregon.
It just makes sense. Oregon connection, whatever. But he could actually help a defense. I truly feel that Chip Kelly can take any guy off the street on the offensive side of the ball and produce in his offense. So they're going to stack their defense.
I agree with you.
Kiko and Arik, little reunition.
Reuniting. And it feels so good.
Hashtag mimosas.
I haven't taken Armstead too. I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you don't see my mock until now, Joe.
That's interesting.
I don't like to divulge it to you.
To have it picked that late, the same.
I do think he raids Oregon's closet again, and he's too good to fall here, in my opinion.
Okay.
He could go earlier, a lot earlier.
He could.
Cincinnati Bengals, another team I had a hard time mocking too. But I think they go offensive line here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think they go offensive line.
No, I got that too. What do you have?
I have Andres Pete.
Oh, I don't have him. I don't have
Andres Pete from Stanford.
Right. I had him taking somebody who Matt gave away way earlier, Lael Collins, another big body. They love girth there. Andrew Whitworth is there, and they just need to protect Andy Dalton.
Agreed.
Again, if they drafted Gio 2-3 years ago, and then they brought in Jeremy Hill. I just feel like this is going to change the dynamic of that offense. I know they have A.J. Green. They have a bunch of other good wide receivers. But I think they're in that division, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. That is just the ultimate hard-nosed
it's just
running
old
division.
school football is what it is.
And I think it's great. So I think they get bigger up front. Lael Collins, LSU. Number 22, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Troy Polamalu just retired. They have nobody else in that secondary. They take the cornerback left on my mock draft with the most upside, even though he hasn't started a lot. Jalen Collins, LSU, cornerback.
A lot of injury history.
A little bit of an injury history, yes. But I think that the
supremely talented, though.
Hard-nosed mentality gets him over those little bumps and bruises. So that's why I haven't taken Jalen Collins, LSU.
Well, as you just mentioned, Troy Polamalu he announced his retirement, which kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Because I love Polamalu, but he wants to spend time with his family. I digress. I have him addressing that hole in their defense, and I have him taking Landon Collins from Alabama.
Another good pick.
Number 23, Detroit Lions. I have them addressing the offensive side of the ball, offensive line, to be specific. DJ Humphries from Florida.
Okay.
If you're going to drop back 700 times a year.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And I love Stafford came out again. He's like, oh, we're not going to drop back that much. You said that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's just who you guys are.
I mean, Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, who is the grandson of the great Vince Lombardi. Look what he did in New Orleans. He slung it left and right. They won a Super Bowl.
That's what they
bring over to Detroit.
That's what Stafford does. And you know what? If you're going to drop him back, you need to make sure that he is protected. And that's why I haven't taken DJ Humphries.
That's understandable. I am giving them an defensive pass rusher here because, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. In that division, you have to get rushers after the quarterback. My second favorite player in this draft, Alvin Bud Dupree. Outside linebacker, Kentucky. I think he can give that defense the versatility it needs to run different types of schemes against the Packers and the Bears and the Vikings. Moving on.
Number 24.
The Arizona Cardinals. This pick was easy for me. I really love their defense. I know that they lost Cromartie. I don't care. They're big up front. They're fast up front. So for me, they don't have a center. They have Ayupati. They have Cooper. Bobby Massey. That's a good line. Imagine what they could have done if they had Carson Palmer there last year.
Well, him going down really.
I mean, we said it in one of the first episodes.
Yeah.
If you don't have a backup quarterback, what good are you?
Oh my God, they were so bad when he went down.
So for me, they are taking the best center in this draft. He also gives you versatility at tackle. Cameron Irving, Florida State.
Makes sense. Absolutely.
All my picks make sense, Matt.
Not really.
No, they all do.
I have them addressing the running back position, and here's where I have the first running back going off the board. Mr. Todd Gurley from Georgia. I understand he's coming off a devastating injury. I understand that. But I really do think that he is a special talent. I mean, people want to compare him to Adrian Peterson. I don't know about that. Adrian Peterson's once in a lifetime. I think Todd Gurley steps in there, and he's a great compliment for Ellington. Okay. They need a bruiser. They need somebody to run between the tackles. Andre Ellington's not running between the tackles. Just not.
Fair enough.
So again, I haven't taken Todd Gurley. I think it takes pressure off of Carson Palmer, who doesn't need to drop back every other play.
Understood.
Number 25, Carolina Panthers. They just signed Peanut Tillman. Great player.
Does nothing for them right now.
No, does nothing. Great player though.
Yeah.
Great career, great player. Does nothing for them. They need to upgrade that position. They need help in the secondary, and this is where I have Marcus Peters going. You know, I think it might be a little low for Marcus Peters, but I think his red flags kind of drop him a little bit. But his talent is definitely a top 16, 17 talent. If he falls to the Carolina Panthers at 25, they are going to scoop him up as fast as possible.
Okay. I'm giving them offensive lineman Andrew Speed, Stanford. If you're going to run the ball with D'Angelo Williams and you want to give Cam some time to run his options and get the ball down the field, they need to really improve there.
Absolutely, they need.
Especially if they're contemplating signing Newton long term. They have to protect him. So Andrew Speed is my pick.
Absolutely,
for the longevity of protecting Cam Newton. 26, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is definitely an offensive side of the ball pick for me. I don't think I'll change this moving forward. Brashard Perriman. Now, this is part of what Matt said earlier, and I'm going to twist it. Yeah, okay. Great speed, great height. He's really been coming on. Stock is rising. The thing that scares me about him is that he had good production in college at Central Florida, but it wasn't Amari Cooper, Kevin White, Devontae Parker.
Not many people were Amari Cooper.
Not to mention he has a 14% drop rate. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but in wide receiver world, it's a lot. And he needs to stop. But I think with Flacco there and veteran Steve Smith could really mentor him, I think he could succeed there. So that's my pick. Brashard Perriman, wide receiver, Central Florida.
Okay. I have him addressing the defensive side of the ball here. I haven't taken Kevin Johnson from Wake Forest. I think they need secondary help. I think the vaulted Baltimore defense is a shell of what it used to be. You know, they lost Nada. They lost Ed Reed a couple years ago. They're not that scary defense anymore. And I think they need to start rebuilding that. And I think you do that through the secondary. And I have them addressing the cornerback position with Kevin Johnson here.
Fair enough.
All right, number 27 here, the Dallas Cowboys. I have them taking running back Melvin Gordon. I know you don't really enjoy running backs going in the first round, but I think they desperately want to address that position. I think Jerry Jones wants Adrian Peterson. I don't think he's going to get him. So I have them taking Melvin Gordon from Wisconsin.
Okay, I think that they are going to get Adrian Peterson eventually. I don't know what it's going to take, but I think that they do. In order to keep the defense healthy, i.e. Sean Lee, Rolando McClain really came on. I think they're going to take defensive tackle from Florida State, Eddie Goldman. He can eat up big guards in the middle to free up your linebackers to make big plays. So that's my pick. That defense needs to get drastically better.
Eddie Goldman would fit nicely there.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great fit.
Number 28, the Denver Broncos.
Yes. For me, I'm giving them offensive lineman T.J. Clemmings. They lost Orlando Franklin to the San Diego Chargers. You have to protect Peyton at the end of the day. That's goal number one, in my opinion. So, T.J. Clemmings, offensive lineman from Pittsburgh.
Not many holes to fill, in my opinion. I agree with you. They do need to address the offensive line. I have him taking Eric Flowers from Miami.
Okay, so we're at the same position. Moving on. The Indianapolis Colts at pick number 29. This team doesn't need offensive help. You could make an argument that they could take an offensive lineman. Always helps because you have Andrew Luck. I'm giving them the best all-around linebacker in this draft, Eric Kendricks from UCLA, because he's a three-down linebacker who could cover tight ends.
He's a beast.
Simple as that.
He's a beast. I have them taking Cameron Irving, the flexible offensive lineman from Florida State. He can be moved around, and he can be placed basically where they need him.
Right.
And in Indianapolis, their number one goal is to protect Andrew Luck.
Agreed.
So I agree with you that they do desperately need some help on defense, but you got to keep Andrew Luck upright.
Agreed.
So I haven't taken Cameron Irving. Number 30, your Green Bay Packers, Joseph.
Yes, what do you have?
You just mentioned the man. I think he is a phenomenal linebacker. I think the Green Bay Packers need help at linebacker. I haven't taken Eric Kendricks from UCLA.
Okay. If Ted Thompson watches MG in the BOD, Ted, I'm talking to you. Trade the pick.
To Buffalo.
Done.
Okay.
Done. I don't care. Just get out of the first round. There's nobody here draftable that makes your team better.
Agreed.
Now. Accumulate picks, get depth. However, you can't do that in a mock. I'm taking cornerback Kevin Johnson from Wake Forest. Simply put, they have no cornerbacks on their team right now other than Sam Shields. Got safeties. Safeties isn't the issue. We got no cornerbacks. So Kevin Johnson, Wake Forest. Number 31 with their second pick in the first round, the Saints.
The Jimmy Graham pick.
This is the Jimmy Graham pick.
Okay.
I am staying on the defensive side of the ball. I gave them Randy Gregory at 13. Here I'm giving them nose tackle Jordan Phillips from Oklahoma. Strictly a run stopper, big body. Obviously very goal line oriented player. He could really help turn around that defense and help stop the run, which is what they need to do.
Okay. I have them taking the offensive side of the ball, surprisingly. I mean, I know they need a lot of help on defense, but I think they just cannot pass up on the talent that Doyle Green Beckham can bring to Drew Brees.
If he's on the board, that would be unbelievable.
If he's still there, which he could be because of his red flags.
No doubt.
I mean, you got Drew Brees throwing to 6'6" Doyle Green Beckham.
Scary thought.
It's a scary thought, and I think they need help in that position.
Agreed.
You know?
You can make that argument, sure.
Number 32, the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. They need cornerback help. They need running back help. And they're still probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Of course.
Because that's what they do. I have them taking Vince Wilfork, his replacement, Mr. Eddie Goldman from Florida State.
That would be a very good pick for obvious reasons. I don't want to do this pick. I don't. But I'm giving them running back Todd Gurley because it's just a Belichickian pick.
It's a Belichick pick.
That's all it is.
He's going to win the rushing title.
Somehow.
And the Super Bowl MVP.
Right. And it's going to happen because Belichick sold his soul to the devil.
Yes.
Everybody knows that. So it's Todd Gurley from Georgia for me at pick 32. That concludes our 1 through 32. Remember, go check out coffeetalkradio.com. Matt and I will put something up when it's ready to be viewed. And remember, everybody, we definitely don't know everything.
However,
we definitely know more than you.
Tune in next time, April 27th, coming to you with a live mock draft. Thanks for stopping by.
Be well.